Hi there. If you told 10-year-old me that one day most games would be free, I would have thought you were out of your mind. This was an era where a single game cost $60, the console itself was a significant investment, and the second controller was a luxury worth thinking about twice. Free games sounded like a fairy tale. There is an old saying worth keeping in mind. Be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. Because my adult self looks at what free-to-play actually became, and can't help thinking we were better off with the $60 proposal that was on the table not so long ago. So how exactly did we get from there to here? Not every idea that looks good on the surface produces the results that were intended. One of my favorite recurring stories is in the Twisted Metal series with Endings and Calypso, the shadowy figure who offers contestants one wish, anything they desire. The catch is that Calypso was known for twisting these wishes, finding the unspecified flaw, the unguarded assumption, and turning a seemingly noble request into something its maker never intended. He reminds me of the puka in Celtic folklore, a shape-shifting creature known for granting wishes in ways that technically fulfill the idea of the request, while completely undermining its spirit. In Twisted Metal 3, two police officers enter the tournament for genuinely noble reasons, to rid their world of crime and violence. They win, Calypso smiles. They wish for a world without crime or violence, and find themselves on a street corner holding a sign that reads, "Working for donuts." A world without crime had no need for police officers. Their entire skill set, their identity, their purpose, rendered obsolete by the exact wish they thought would save everything. The free-to-play model has a similar smile. The free-to-play model didn't arrive alone. It came with a shop, and with it, a new kind of transaction. Pay for power, pay for convenience, pay for quality of life improvements that shouldn't have been problems in the first place. That last part deserves a moment. Quality of life improvements that fix problems the developers intentionally created is perhaps the most honest oxymoron in modern gaming. The game is made worse so that paying to make it bearable feels like a service. You're being charged for the removal of a problem that was put there specifically to charge you for its removal. That this works at a scale says something uncomfortable about both the industry and its audience. It also explains a creeping attitude among modern developers toward their own players, a quiet condescension that becomes more visible the longer you look at these systems. But the cynicism of the model is almost secondary to its fundamental business problem. There is a fine line between how much you can extract from a free-to-play audience before they disappear entirely. The real challenge was never maximizing the profit. Plenty of developers bent themselves trying to satisfy investors on that front. The real challenge was always keeping enough of an audience alive to have anything running in the first place. My brother moved to a new city not long ago and told me a story about the neighborhood he found himself in. A smaller place, not far from a bigger city, the kind of town where everyone knows everyone. There was a shop owner he'd chat with regularly, a part of the local fabric. Then one of the bigger buildings on the same block was bought by Walmart. When it opened, the shop owner faced a choice: specialize, compete on price, or find a niche Walmart couldn't fill. Instead, he raised his prices. My brother was genuinely shocked, chatted with him briefly, bought his usual things, and left. He never went back. The last conversation my brother had with him, the owner was confident. People support local shops. They know him personally. Who do they know from Walmart? The shop closed roughly 3 months after Walmart opened. It's a story that keeps coming back to me when I look at certain free-to-play developers. The assumption that familiarity and goodwill will substitute for a genuinely competitive product is a trap as old as commerce itself. Loyalty has its limits. And when you raise the price while lowering the quality, those limits arrive faster than anyone expects. Which brings us back to the free-to-play conundrum itself. The players who spend the most are called whales, a term that spread through the industry somehow, presumably to signify the big fish. Regular spenders have since been classified as dolphins, and the smaller fish beneath them. The taxonomy says everything about how these players are actually viewed. To keep whales engaged, developers must constantly provide something to look forward to. Exclusive content, overwhelming advantage, visible superiority over everyone else. Without that abundance and edge, the whale has no reason to open their wallet. And that simply cannot happen. But here is where the ecosystem becomes genuinely fragile. Whales need an audience to dominate. Without a large enough free-to-play base, there is nobody to flex on, nobody to defeat, nobody to make investment feel worthwhile. Suddenly, every advantage purchased becomes meaningless. So a precise and brutal balance must be maintained at all times. Make the game unplayable for free-to-play players, and the audience disappears. Give smaller spenders no edge over free-to-play players and they leave. Fail to give whales enough advantage over everyone else and they're gone too. Each layer of the ecosystem depends entirely on the ones beneath it. I've played enough gacha games to have watched several collapse from exactly this imbalance. Some made the same mistake as our shop owner. Raised prices and throw away the very customers keeping them alive, and were left with nothing. In shifting to this model, the industry traded simplicity for a maintenance nightmare. A one-time purchase game could ship with bugs, imbalances, and rough edges, and most players shrugged and moved on. Nobody was invested enough to riot. Free-to-play changed that contract entirely. When you're a recurring customer, you have a recurring expectations. You wouldn't walk into a bar, pay for a drink regularly, and accept that sometimes it doesn't taste good. The moment money flows consistently, so does entitlement, and reasonably so. Social media accelerated this tension to a breaking point. The moment something is overpowered, someone is already recording a video about it. There is another dimension worth considering. In the era of one-time purchases, nobody was particularly motivated to find the single most powerful combination available. Strong enough was enough. Communities were smaller, competition was local, and there was no platform to broadcast dominance to thousands of people simultaneously. But add social media, instant replays, and the one-upping mentality that comes with them, and the calculus changes completely. Suddenly strong enough is never enough because someone somewhere has already found something stronger and posted it. The pressure to maximize escalates constantly and developers are left chasing a moving target of a player expectation that their own systems helped create. It's another piece of the Calypso Bargain, the wish for connection and community granted in a form nobody quite expected. Communities mobilize around imbalances with speed and volume that would have been unimaginable in the one-time purchase era. And developers find themselves caught in an impossible position, because not everyone experiences the game the same way. The player with a rare unit or powerful combination will argue passionately that their advantage is perfectly reasonable. The player without it will argue just as passionately that it isn't. Every balanced decision satisfies one group and alienates another. Social media ensures both reactions are loud and immediate. What used to be a creative endeavor increasingly feels like a crisis management with a development studio attached. The ship of Theseus feels like the right metaphor to end on. If you replace every piece that made video games what they were with something similar but fundamentally different, do you still have the same thing? Are these still video games in the way we understood them, or something else wearing the same name? Thomas Hobbes took this paradox further, asking not just about replaced ship, but about what you'd build if you kept all of the original pieces. Can that question even be applied to video games anymore? Can you imagine a remaster of Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves with no gambling systems, no gacha mechanics, no whale economy holding the whole structure together? It almost feels like a parallel universe thought experiment at this point. But maybe someone eventually does exactly that. Maybe the original pieces are still out there waiting to be reassembled into something that remembers what it was supposed to be. For now, we have a fragile free-to-play ecosystems that still need considerable work. The hope is that someday the substance of the game gets more attention than the contents of the shop. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. Hit a like and subscribe for similar topics, and I will talk to you in the next video. Until next time, take care.